Have you ever tried to fit into a mold, only to feel yourself shrinking? Have you silenced your own voice, just to please? This isn't just the story of a crow, it's a mirror. For anyone who has ever questioned their own worth, stay until the end, because maybe this story is about you. Chapter 1. The Crow from the Quiet Sky. On top of a hill, where the wind whispered old tales and the trees spoke in hushes, lived a crow. His wings were wide, his posture upright, his gaze deep like dusk. He was beautiful, but not in the way others called beautiful. He was strong, but his strength went unseen. Each morning he'd open his eyes, look to the sky, and quietly wonder, why do I feel so alone, with all of this around me? Below, flying gently, like wind brushing water, was a dove. She shone, surrounded by warm voices and open hearts. Foxes smiled when they saw her. Squirrels rushed to greet her. And the crow, he watched from above, not with envy, but with a quiet longing he couldn't explain. If I were more like her, would I belong too? And that was where the first wound opened. Not between him and the world, but within himself. Chapter 2. The Struggle to Become Someone Else. So he changed. He stopped soaring. His wings, once proud and free, now tried to float soft, like hers. His strong call, once a signal to the skies, once a song for the rain, was dimmed into whispers even the wind couldn't hear. He tried to smile with his eyes, walk light among the others. But no one noticed. And the more he erased himself to fit an image that wasn't his, the more invisible he became. The forest kept celebrating the dove, and he, fading into something softer, began to vanish. He no longer enjoyed flight, he no longer sang, he no longer wandered. His soul, once full of sky, was now a prison of stillness. But the hardest part was realizing that even when pretending to be better, no one came closer. No one saw him, because when you stop seeing yourself, you disappear. And have you ever changed so much for someone that you forgot who you were? If that's happened to you, drop a comment. I once changed for love. You're not alone. Chapter 3. A Mirror in Her Gaze. One morning, when the sky couldn't decide between blue and gray, the crow woke heavy, too heavy to carry one more day. He came down from his tree. Each wing beat felt like an apology for something he couldn't name. In a clearing, the dove drank slowly. The lake's reflection wrapped around her like a soft embrace. The crow landed nearby, unsure, but she saw him. She didn't flinch. She looked at him gently, as if to say, "It's okay, come closer." He walked toward her carefully, quietly, tight-chested. Then, as if unlocking a long-forgotten door, he spoke. I don't even know where to begin, but I had to find you." She listened, not with words, but with presence. "For so long, I only watched you from afar, and I thought, if I were more like you, maybe the world would see me differently." His eyes glistened. Still, he went on. "I changed everything. My flight, my voice, even the way I stayed silent." He paused, breathed. "I dimmed everything loud in me, just to fit where I never belonged. And still, no one came closer. No one saw me, not even me." The dove moved, stepped forward. Still silent, he wasn't done. "I hid behind who you are because I thought being like you was the way to be loved. But now, I don't know who I am anymore. Is there something wrong with me, with the weight I carry, with how deep I feel?" Then she spoke, softly, but with a grounded strength.
"No, there's nothing wrong with you. You just forgot how to see yourself."
The crow looked at her, stunned. She continued.
You were born with wide wings to touch winds I can't reach. Your voice isn't soft like mine, it's deep. It signals change, it stirs the air.
But no one hears me.
Because you stopped listening to yourself. When you tried to become someone else, you let go of everything that made you, you.
She stepped closer, touched his wing with her beak.
You matter. The forest needs your silence just as much as it needs my song. It needs your shade as much as my light. And do you know why? Because there's no beauty in sameness. There's beauty in being whole.
His chest knotted, a mix of ache, release, and something unfamiliar. Belonging. But what if no one accepts me anyway? He asked. She replied without pause.
Then start with you. Be the first to say yes to yourself. Because when you love and honor who you are, the world has no choice. It learns to see you too.
Her words didn't just land in his ears, they echoed deep inside. And for the first time, he didn't feel he needed to change to be loved. He felt he only needed to return to being. Chapter 4, A Flight Like Never Before. That night, the crow returned to the hilltop, but something in him was different. His wings were still dark, his voice still low, the world still the same, but inside there was stillness. And within that stillness, peace. He landed by the lake, where the stars reflected like quiet truths. He looked into the water, and for the first time, he didn't judge what he saw. He didn't want to change a thing. He saw depth in his shadows. He saw presence in his weight. He saw truth in his edges. As the first light brushed the sky, he felt something old stir again. A desire to fly, but not to impress, not to be chosen, not to be different. He wanted to fly, because he was made for it. He opened his wings, let the wind trace every feather, and then he rose. Up, higher, higher than ever before. The wind clapped, the clouds made space, and the sky, for the first time, felt like it belonged to him. Below, one by one, the forest began to notice. "Look at the crow," said a fox. "Such strength, such grace," whispered a hare. "He's always been here, and only now we truly see him," murmured a deer. But the crow wasn't listening, not because he didn't care, but because, finally, he was listening to himself. From the ground, the dove looked up and smiled, not with pride, but with recognition. He was flying, fully himself, not trying to be light, just being shadow, and knowing shadow matters too, because now he didn't need to be loved to feel love. He had chosen himself, and in that choice, everything changed. Epilogue: when you see yourself, the world does too. Since that flight, the crow never tried to fit molds again. He flew his own way, strong, true, unbound. He didn't seek applause, he didn't wait for eyes to follow, but something had shifted. Because in accepting himself, he became visible, not just to others, but to his own soul. The forest learned to hear his song, deep, vital, resonant. Even the trees now swayed not just with wind, but with his presence. And the dove, she still flew with grace, side by side with him. Not in rivalry, not in comparison, but as living proof that there's beauty in light and in shadow. The crow discovered that the most powerful love doesn't come from outside. It blooms from within, when you see yourself with softness, with honesty, with courage. And you, how many times have you dimmed your light or hidden your depth just to be welcomed? How often have you forgotten that your way of being is needed too? Remember this, you weren't born to copy anyone. You were born to live your own truth, and when you do that, oh friend, you fly. Not like the others, but like you. And in that flight, you are beautiful, you are needed, you are you. Tell me, where are you watching from? Drop your city or country in the comments. I'd love to see how far this story has flown. If this fable touched your heart, give the video a like. It helps me see that these stories matter to you, and it inspires me to keep going. And if you'd like to hear the next reflections, just subscribe and turn on the bell. I promise to bring more stories made with soul to remind you of what truly matters. See you in the next flight.